Hello everyone. Today I think I'm going to bring you a very interesting video with my friend here.
Hello. We played Melee once.
Yes, we did. We did play Melee. And I played Roy in that video and he destroyed me, but now we're on my turf. Now we're in the game Roy's actually from. Actually, Roy is from Melee since that came out first, but let's ignore that.
Oh, so, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. that shows the level of standing I am with these games.
Yeah. Yeah, so Bucky, you know, he's never played a Fire Emblem game, ever. You know, I said I liked Charlotte once. It didn't go well. He said, never mind. Never mind, anyway. Yeah.
I bullied,
5 points.
What's your name again?
I bullied Squid now, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
5 points. A little bit over it. Yeah. It's okay, though.
Yeah. Alright. So he has never played Fire Emblem, so today I'm going to describe to him objective truths about these characters, and he is going to decide how good they are, and then at the end we'll compare my tier list to his after having beaten these games 3 times, once in Iron Man.
Man.
So, you know the basics, right? It's on a grid, you attack their stats and stuff, like, you know what it is in general, right?
Yeah, I do.
Like, okay. So with that, let's begin. So, Goated, this is a tier where it's like pretty much every player uses these characters. They're recommended for pretty much everyone. Good as they contribute a lot, you know, they're just good in general. Meh is like they're alright, they're not actively hindering you if you use them. Trash is self-explanatory, and this tier will be self-explanatory when we get to it.
Okay.
So let's start off with the main guy, Roy. He only has 5 movement. His stats are kind of middling. However, and he doesn't promote until the end of the game, so like, you know how like a Pokemon evolves?
Right.
So these characters start in classes and they can evolve into like better classes that give them more stats. But Roy, since he's a plot important character and his promotion happens at the end of the game, so he doesn't get a big stat boost until then. But because he's the main character, he can talk to a lot of other characters, the most in the game actually, and give them bonuses like evasion, so enemy characters have a less good chance of hitting them.
So sort of just like he brings up the rest of the party, but he himself is not that great until the end of the game.
And well, I'm not going to tell you how good he is, because then this tier list would be pointless. I'm just and he does have he does have a preferred weapon at the beginning that is effective against knights and cavalry, which you do fight a lot in the beginning. But it only has limited uses, and by the end of the game he gets the sword he uses in Smash that pretty much sets everything on fire and blows them up.
Wait, you say limited uses, does it like break like a Minecraft sword?
Yeah,
like,
so items in Fire Emblem have like durability, so like you can use them like 40 times, and you can use his rapier, which is the knight and horse effective one, like 20. Alright everyone, we're back, sorry the recording accidentally paused, so that's all there is to say about Roy.
I am going to confidently put Roy in good.
Alright. Alrighty.
Do I have to provide any reasoning, or do we move on to the next?
Well, I don't know, you can say why you feel that way if you want.
Well, he brings up the rest of the party. Plus, if I put... Like, I don't want to bring bias into this. This is supposed to be a completely unbiased system. But I feel like if I put Roy into a bad category... like, you and I would probably, like, be less of friends.
Nah,
I'm treading on hallowed ground here.
But I should mention, his support limit, him talking to other characters, that has a hard limit of 5. He can only have 5 conversations in the whole game, and he can talk to some characters more than once, so if he talks to one character 3 times and another character 2 times, he can't talk to anyone else. And the more he talks to them, the more bonuses he gives.
I locked it in. I'm
you
not
locked it in.
my
Okay, he's in good.
Roy is my lock of the week.
Okay. So this is Alan. He's on a horse, and being on a horse means he can do lots of things, like if he trades with someone. He has higher movement than Roy, for example. Roy has like 5 movement, this guy is 7 because he's like on a horse, right?
Okay.
And if he uses an item or trades with someone or visits a town or anything that's not a combat action, he can use his remaining movement. So say he takes like 2 movement, trades with someone, he can use his leftover 5 movement as long as he doesn't attack, and that is something infantry units don't have access to. He's pretty strong, but he's not very fast at the beginning. His speed level ups are likely to happen, but at the beginning, he won't attack enemies twice a lot in combat, because if you have at least 4 more speed than them, you can attack them twice. So he's one of your starting party members. Like these 5 guys right here, they're Roy. They start out with Roy. So yeah, and he's available from the beginning of the game.
Okay, this is gonna be a little bit controversial. He's going in meh.
All right.
Because if Roy can move 5 and he's on feet, and a dude on a horse can only move 7.
Well, once he reaches his advanced class, it goes up to 8.
Okay, still.
All right.
I would quantify that. It's like if you gave me if you were on a scooter and you like nearly kept up with a car. That's one hell of a good scooter. So I say that he's confidently in meh because he's got one weak ass horse.
All right. Well, that's going to be true for every horse unit in the game. Oh, by the way, I should mention this applies to every mounted unit. By the way.
Okay.
It's going to be especially important when we get to characters like this who have flying mounted units like Pegasi. But if he rescues somebody, which is like which you can pick them up and move them. Since he's on a horse, he can, as I said, use his leftover moves. So say Roy went and fought a guy and he was still in enemy range. Because this guy's on a horse, he could go pick up Roy, and then because he's on a horse, he could move back out of enemy range. I don't know if that's going to change your rating at all.
See, the thing is, I already locked in my lock of the week.
Oh, so he's locked in? Alright. Alan is in
It's the same exact thing as Roy. It's the same exact thing as Roy, where you present the other half of the mechanics once I locked it in.
Oh, sorry. So okay, well this is your chance to change your mind, because this guy.
Lock of the week.
Nope. No. Because this guy is exactly the same as this guy, but he has 2 less strength, but 2 more speed. And he has like a 5% more chance to get speed on a level up, but a 5% less chance to get strength. And pretty much everything I said about this guy applies to this guy.
We're gonna put him in good because I think that means this horse is a little bit faster.
Well, he still has 7 movement. He's just more likely to double attack enemies in 1 round. That's more likely to kill them.
Oh, I misunderstood what this.
No, speed. If you have 4 more speed, so it's like so movement is just how far you move on the map, but speed is like how faster you are than your opponent. And if you have 4 more, you get to attack them twice in 1 round.
I'm still putting my lock of the week in good.
All right, above or below Roy?
Oh, that's tough. We're gonna put above Roy.
All right. This is Wolt. He is the archer class, and what I'm about to say will apply to every archer. He can attack enemies at 2 range, because he has an inherent bow and arrow class. But when enemies attack him when it's their turn, he cannot counterattack because they attack him at 1 range and he attacks at 2 range. Like, you know how there are squares? So if he's like 2 squares away, he can shoot his arrow, but if an enemy attacks him, he cannot counterattack. Compared to these guys who would be able to. And he doesn't really double attack enemies. His primary objective, I would say, is to deal chip damage. And then your guys actually finish him off. That's his primary. I feel like that's what most people use him for. And he's like Roy. He's not on a horse, so he has about the same as Roy.
I'm gonna say trash because I feel like chip damage is worse than someone who is actually a potential damage dealer. Plus, his hair looks like the Gatorade color, like it's lime green.
All right.
Yeah.
So trash it is. All right. This you remember him from the cut-in obscure video game content we made together, Chinson, but his real name is Borse. I don't know if any of my audience has a Twitter account, but we kind of.
Did you edit that on screen? The tweet?
Yeah, I can do that. So me, my friend here, Bucky, and some other friends run a fake news Twitter account. And if you ever heard of Scrupulous Fingor, you know, we did that.
Yeah. Squid will put the post on the screen. The visuals were done by @VisualPrism, and Squid and I refined the writing.
Yeah, and I actually put the sprite in the game and edited the text to be the old Shinsen thing. I had to download fucking Fire Emblem hacking tools to do that.
Oh, and it came out so good.
I love that post. I love that post. Okay, so
I'm going into Boris a little bit biased.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll tell you what he does. Now, Boris has a very interesting mechanic, and I'm very interested to see how much you value this. So, he is a knight. He is armored, and because his armor weighs him down, he has 1 less movement than, like, the infantry classes. So, Raigh has 5 movement, Boris has 4. So, so getting him to the enemies, sometimes, can be a little bit of a task.
Okay.
But he is very defensive, right? You know, let's say... in an example, like, Raigh takes 2 hits, Boris would take, like, 4, because he's an armor knight.
Damn, okay.
But he's kind of inaccurate. He's kind of inaccurate. Like, I'd say on the typical enemy, if you attack them with Boris, with, like, some of his most accurate options, he's going to be weighing in around 60 to 80% most of the time.
Wow, that is, at that low end, 60%? That is, like, a good, we're bordering on a 50-50 chance.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So this is one of the reasons... Well, hold on. No, I'm just going to stick to objective truths. I'm not going to give you other people's opinions. His speed growth... Okay, so usually in these Fire Emblem games, the Armor Knights are slow because they're wearing armor. But Boris is kind of like, if you train him enough, his speed growth is high enough as to where you can get him to a point where he can actually double attack... enemies twice, like Lance can, and it's kind of like a meme, because, like, in some fan games, there's, like, they put him in as a joke and call him Speedy Borsales. He doesn't start out this way, you have to level him up. Speedy Borsales, yeah. You know, Chinsen was not the first Bors meme, I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Oh,
and, so there's that. But he has a very interesting mechanic. You see these 2 Armor Knights? My mouse is over here.
Yes, I do.
Once they join the party, if the 3 of them surround a unit, and one of them initiates combat, so you know how it's like on a grid, so say one's on top, one's on bottom, and one's to the right?
Yeah.
If Boris initiates combat, and that scenario has been reached, he will always hit, and he will always crit. And that is called a triangle attack, and crits do 3 times damage.
Oh. I'm gonna say...
So that averts his accuracy problem, and guarantees a critical hit.
You're sacrificing so much else of your party to make that happen, and you have to really train him to get into a place where Speedy Borsales is actually...
Yeah, and when you say that digs into the party, I should clarify, in most chapters in this game, you can deploy around 12 to 16 units. There are some outliers where you can deploy, like, more or less, but that's the average. So, like, you would need to deploy all 3 of these guys to do the triangle attack, and they all have 4 movement.
I see. I thought it was more along the lines of Pokemon, where that's...
No. So it's like you start the map, and you can do battle preps, and you can choose, like, which of these 50 guys you bring into battle.
I see. Okay. Well, still, it's so circumstantial. I'm gonna say, because of the dedication involved, trash.
Ooh,
I'm sorry,
okay.
Chinsen.
Okay,
sorry,
above
Chinsen.
or below
You're not making
Wolt?
a good argument for yourself. However, your chin is so handsome.
Yeah, he's so handsome.
We're gonna put him below Mr. Greenie.
Below Wolt? Want to hear a fun fact about Wolt? I know, I think you're gonna love this.
Okay.
So Roy's mom died after he was born. So Wolt's mom had to step in and do some of the things, so these 2 are kind of like brothers. I'm gonna keep it PG, but, like, they're bonded in a very significant way.
You might have to censor what I said before.
What'd you say before?
When you said Roy's mom died, I said that pussy too tight.
No, that's fine. I don't care.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay.
So, like, do you get the implication where I'm saying these 2 are bonded in a very significant way?
Yes,
okay.
Yes, I do.
That's a fun fact about Raigh and Wolt. Alright. This is Marcus. Now, I'm actually very interested to hear your opinion on this guy. So as you can see, he's old, right? He's got gray hair. He doesn't have the anime protagonist hair anymore like all these guys have. He's too old for that shit.
He got a haircut.
Yeah. And because he's a veteran, he has much higher stats than all your starting party members.
Whoa.
And so, like, if these guys, if you send Alan, say, to fight, like, a Chapter 1 bandit, you know, he's not gonna kill it in, like, one go. But Marcus, you know, he can pull that off, and he has a very... I haven't brought up weapon rank yet, but, like, the more you use a weapon, the more weapon EXP you get. So say, this guy starts out, he can use, like, iron lances. I'm just bringing up an example. But if he uses a lance enough times, then he can use steel lances and then silvers and so on and so forth, right?
Okay.
This guy can use silver lances right off the bat, so he can just pull up to, like, the enemies in chapter, like, 1, use, like, one of the strongest weapons in the game and just be like, bye, I ain't seen that.
Wow. Okay,
and, however, he starts out in the promoted class, you know how I said how these guys can promote, so he also already has 8 movement. And because he's already promoted, he can use... So these guys, when the horses are unpromoted, they can use lances and swords. And there's like a triangle, like, you know how in Pokemon fire beats water, water beats grass and shit?
Yes.
So there's a weapon triangle in this game where, like, swords beat axes, axes beat lances, and lances beat swords. This guy, since he's already in the promoted horse class, he can use lances, swords, and axes. Well, these guys can only use lances and swords, so he's never at a disadvantage, ever.
Wow. Okay.
However, since he starts out promoted, he gains experience very much slower than the rest of your party, and while his base stats are high, his growths are very low. So you've heard me bring up growths before. Do you know what that means?
Yes, I do. I am familiar with the concept.
So, like, Roy has, when he levels up, he has, like, a 40% chance to get resistance.
Yeah.
This guy, since he starts out high and he's old, so he doesn't have a lot of a lot of room to grow anymore, so he doesn't get as much experience as the rest of your party members, but his growths are also terrible. Like, if you level him up, he's gonna get, like, 2 to 0 stats. So, when you get to the middle of the game, around, like, chapter, like, 12 out of, like, 24, some players, you know, send him off to the retirement home. So, how good do you think he is?
Ooh, I'm gonna say...
And I will tell you something about, there's this concept of an EXP hog that exists in the Fire Emblem community. Now, I will not tell you my opinion on the term, but pretty much the idea is that since Marcus is so good, he can kill everything in the early game, but then none of these guys are getting experience, so then they don't level up, and then once you get to the middle of these games and none of these guys have EXP, then what are you gonna do?
That's a very good point. I was gonna say he could carry you into the middle of the game.
Yeah, but then Roy and Lance don't get any level ups. So what do you think of that?
Right. Now knowing that he hoards all the XP.
I'm not saying he hoards. I'm saying he can if you use exclusively him. All right.
We're gonna stick him in meh.
All right, Matt. Above or below Alan?
We're gonna put him above Alan. I think Alan sucks.
Yeah, fuck Alan. Fuck you, Alan. Alright.
Dude, he's fucking old and crippled and he could walk... Well, is he also on a horse?
Yeah, he's a mounted unit, so he can do everything these guys can do and more, because he has 8 movement.
Is his horse also old?
It could be, I don't know. He never says so.
Okay, so picture this. His horse is old. His horse is old. He's old, and he can still go further than that piddly little man.
Yeah.
Picture how much his like feet hurt after doing that for 80 years on the battlefield, and he can still walk further than that.
Yeah, that's crazy. You're right.
Red-haired boy.
All right, so this is a character. Now follow me on this one. Named Merlinus. His name is Merlinus.
Huh.
And what he does is he cannot move a lot of spaces, he cannot counterattack, if an enemy attacks him he will surely die, but he can carry items around from your storage in the battlefield, so if Roy has a sword in storage and he wants to go get that, he can go talk to Merlinus, and he does take up a deployment slot, so you can choose not to deploy him. His name is Merlinus.
Huh. This is a really difficult decision for me. I feel some pressure. Like the goated tier is sort of calling to me right now.
All right.
Okay. If I'm taking this, if I'm taking this seriously, should I be taking this completely seriously?
Yeah, I want you to assess based on the information I'm giving you.
Seems useless. This game is all about planning. This game is.
I will say, hold on, I forgot to bring up something. So you know how in Fire Emblem there's permadeath?
Yes.
So like, say if Alan dies in combat, that's it, unless you reset the whole mission.
Okay.
Merlinus is like the one exception in the whole series. So if you wanted to lure out an enemy, you could potentially use him as a sacrifice, and then he's just back the next chapter because he just retreats.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Still, I feel that's so situational, and considering the planning you do beforehand, he doesn't offer that much of a role, so we're putting him in the Merlinus tier.
Oh, how could have guessed that one?
Oh, I don't know. I hope there's a character named Goated, too.
Yeah. This is... What's-her-face? That's her name.
Okay.
I've played this game 3 times, I could not tell you her name. Actually, no, I've played this game on hard mode 3 times. I've played this game 5 times, actually.
Oh my god.
So, she comes with a staff. She comes with a staff so she can heal your guys. She can heal them. Why is Lilina all the way up here? That doesn't make any sense. Okay. So, she can heal your guys. She starts out with D rank and staves, which is, you know, kind of as low as it gets. So she's going to have to heal a lot if she's going to want to use the higher rank staves. And her growths are kind of whatever, and if an enemy initiates combat on her, she's a frail little healer girl, so she is unlikely to last.
So I wonder if...
However, she is the only healer you have until we get all the way up to this lady.
I wonder if she can't really survive in combat, how does she level up if she's not killing?
Healing gives you EXP.
Okay, how comparative is that to like a kill?
I think you get around like 10 like 10 to 20 like when you ask me specific like EXP questions, it can be kind of difficult. So like, say this guy kills an enemy that's around his level, he's gonna get like 20 to 30 EXP, and you need 100 to level up. And once you get to level 10, you can use a promotion item to go to your next class. I'd say healing gives you... God, I can't really remember the formula for FE6. Let's just say 10 to 20. Depending on the staff. If you, she starts out with just the basic heal staff, so that gives you, I'm just gonna say, 10-ish. But if you use a warp staff, which, teleports, that'll get you, 50. However, since she starts out with D staves and you don't get advanced staves until kinda later, that doesn't really matter for her when she joins.
I'm gonna put her...
She is your only healer until you get this lady.
She looks like she would make bread. She looks like she would
I think she worked for the church before she joined Roy's army.
Yeah, I can tell the heavy religious implication. I think I'm gonna put her in trash above Limeade Boy.
Alright. Limeade Boy. Yeah, alright.
You know what I'm saying.
Alright.
This guy here looks like Play-Doh that I mashed all the colors together.
Yeah. This is Diek, in a Twitter post. Diek.
Can you spell this?
D-I-E-C-K. Diek. He is famous because in a Twitter post, a Twitter user said, "I finally got my Diek to max level," and he had 30 strength. And in the background, his monitor, his Game Boy Advance, was covering porn that showed Diek's dick. So that was interesting.
Incredible.
Yeah. So what he does is, when he joins, he's like, "Alright, fuckers, I'm Diek." And he doubles guys, he kills them. Doubling means attacking him twice, like this guy can kind of do sometimes.
Okay.
So he shows up, he's like, "Alright, punks." Hold on, my dogs are barking, so I'm just gonna pause for a sec. My sister's probably home, so they're gonna do this for a minute. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. So he comes in, he rubs him up, he's like, "Alright, punks, it's Diekin time." And then he does that for about 3 chapters, I want to say. And then he doesn't double them anymore. And then he doesn't deal as much damage anymore, because the enemies slowly get stronger. And he joins at level 8, compared to these guys who are level 1 when you get them, and he joins in chapter 2. Like, these guys, besides this lady, are all Roy's joining party. So he starts at level, like, I want to say, like, 8, 7, or 6, you know, around that range.
Yeah.
So he doesn't get much EXP from killing a guy, so he doesn't get as much EXP as, say, Alan gets for killing an early enemy.
Okay.
But he does absolutely pulverize them during his limit. So then once everyone else kind of catches up to him in level, and you kind of progress in the game a bit, unless you, like, specifically train him, he's gonna stop doubling guys, he's gonna stop doing, like, more damage than everyone else. And his growths, like, he only has, like, a 30% speed growth, so he never really gets doubling back. Like, I feel like after his prime, he's really not gonna be double attacking unless you give him specific attention and experience and, like, stat boosters. But when he does join and you have no other options to deploy, he does put in a lot of work.
So, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna put him under the old guy in meh tier.
Alright.
Because I feel I'm kind of he's sort of in this class of characters that it seems like effort to keep up with.
He's not in a promoted class like the old man, so like if you can get him up and you can give him his promotion item, and then he will get stat gains that way. So there is potential for him to like grow, unlike Marcus. It's just that it's gonna, it's like, you know, it's like while he's around, he beats people up, but this is me personally. Right, like, this is not stating how good he is, but usually once I get around Chapter 10, you know, Dick's gone, he's, like, going to the retirement home.
Goodbye, Dick.
Yeah. No more dicking around.
Well, he lasted till Chapter 10, and the old... we're gonna move him above the old guy.
Alright.
That's my lock of the week.
Alrighty, lock of the week. You've had, like, 1 million lock of the week so far.
There's just so many weeks in the year, man.
Yeah. This is Wade. He uses axes. This is your first unit that uses primarily axes. Marcus can use them, but he has all those other options. So he uses exclusively axes until he promotes, and then he gets bows like this guy does. And then, when he joins, there's this basic enemy type called a soldier that, like, everyone can double. You know, they're just supposed to be the cannon fodder enemies. You know, Roy walks up, he, you know, kicks him in the balls, and that's that.
Yeah.
Wade is very, very slow, so he cannot double the fodder enemy. However, he is strong. Like, this guy's his counterpart. Like, he has, like, this lot guy has 2 more speed but 2 less strength, and he uses only axes, so he's quite inaccurate. Even with advantage, like, because having advantage, like, axes have advantage over lances. Even with advantage, he's not going to be too accurate, and he's not really going to double anything ever. But he is pretty strong.
What does his growth rate look like?
I will check now, because I have the spot in my Discord server that lets me check things like this. Let's see. At Oife. Let's see. FE6 Wade. So Wade has a 75% HP growth, 50% chance to gain more strength, 45% skill, which is, you know, more accuracy, 20% speed. So actually, since he only has 20% speed and he can't double soldiers at start, it is incredibly likely that enemies will eventually start double attacking him.
Oh, Jesus.
And then he has 30% defense and like 5% resistance, which is magical defense.
We're gonna stick him in meh, above Play-Doh Hair Boy.
Really? Okay, yeah, alright, cool.
Well, listen to me. He seems like he can overcome a little bit of the accuracy.
Uh-huh. Alright, so you think he'll eventually get enough skill to, like, overcome his accuracy issues? Alright, I can see that.
Maybe, and he seemed... I don't know what the 75 health figure is, but
that's like, good. He gains HP, so, like, he goes from 31 hit points, like in Pokemon, then to 31, if he gets it.
Okay, so 75 seems pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, that makes it so he can at least, like, even if he does get doubled, he might not die. Alright.
Right, and who can say that for half the cast? That, like...
Hold on, I will just check, I have a bunch of bots. I checked stats before I did this, so I'll tell you other HP growths. Lance, this guy, he has an 80% HP growth.
I don't need to know all of them. I was just sort of
I'm just giving you some comparison for some other characters to get around the start.
Oh, yeah.
Alan, this guy has 85, and this guy has 75.
Yeah.
However, he does have 28 HP at base, compared to Lance, who only has 20. So he will still have more HP because he has 8 more at base.
I just don't like the smug look of that red guy. So he's staying at bottom tier.
Lance is the green guy.
Well, I'm looking at the red guy.
All right.
I'm just looking at him because you pointed over him that he gets like what 80.
This guy gets 85. This guy gets 80.
Yeah, so I just don't like his smug look, even though he seems a little bit better. But I locked him in.
All right. So he's at the top of the map. All right, Wade Gaming. All right. This is Shanna. Now, Shanna is your first flyer.
Okay.
Which means, say so the chapter she joins in, there's like a big mountain separating the two armies, and like you have to go underneath it to like get to the boss.
Okay.
So like she joins with Dick, Wade, and Lot in chapter 2. Like they all join as like a quad thing. So she can fly over that. So if there's a place she wants to get in any of these maps, she can go there. And since she's mounted, right? She can do that move again thing, because her flying is mounted, which means she has access to rescue. So let's say Roy attacked a guy. Shanna can rescue him and then go onto like a mountain or over a canyon where an enemy could then just not reach them.
That's what I was gonna ask. That is really cool.
However, she does suffer some problems. She has high speed, like higher than anyone else thus far. Well, Marcus might have more since he's like the old bases guy, I don't really remember. But she has a very high speed growth, so consistently throughout the game, if you give her EXP and pay attention to her, she will very consistently attack enemies twice. However, she has very low strength, like I think she has lower strength besides everyone than like Merlinus and your healer. So even though she attacks twice, most of the time she's not really dealing that much more damage.
So I would figure.
And I haven't brought up this stat yet, but there's this thing called con. It hasn't really like mattered yet. So like each item has a weight. Like let's say an iron sword has like 5 weight. I don't remember, but like a steel sword has like 8 weight, right?
Okay.
So it's how much the item weighs. And let's say Roy had like 6 constitution. Since the iron sword would weigh 5 in this scenario, and he has 6 con, he would not lose any speed during combat. However, if the steel sword has 8 con, and 8 weight, and he has 6 con, then he would lose 2 speed, which means he could lose out on his speed threshold, which means he might not double a guy. And Shanna has, I think, one of the lowest cons in the game. So she joins specifically with an item, a super weak lance called the Slim Lance, that weighs like nothing, but it's very weak. But if she just uses a default Iron Lance at base, she might not double some of the enemies because her constitution is so low because she's just like a teenage girl. So she has I've explained her utility that she has to you, but her combat might need some working into if you plan on training her.
I see. So interesting. So it's probably pretty hard to gain XP for that character, considering she'll have a hard time killing to begin with.
But you can't have Alan punch out a guy, deal a significant portion of the damage, and then just have Shanna swoop in. If you want to feed her, if you want to.
It seems like some dedication. We're putting her behind Old Man.
Alright.
And above Red Hair Boy.
Alrighty.
He's sinking to the bottom of meh.
Alright, this is Lot. He's like this guy, 2 more speed, so he actually doubles the cannon fodder enemies. A little less strength. It's pretty much the relationship between these two guys, where this one's the fast one, and this was the strong one. It's the same, but these guys, except they're infantry, so they have 5 movement, and they can only use axes.
I think I made a mistake putting the blue guy there, but he's staying there, lock of the week. We're gonna put that guy at the top of trash.
Okay. Alright.
Top of trash, there he goes. But the blue guy stays, it's the lock of the week.
Alrighty. This is Chad. He is like Shanna, where a lot of his good attributes come from utility. So he is called a thief. So if he sees an enemy with an item, like a gem that's worth 3,000 gold, he can run up to them and steal that gem from them, and then you can sell that to get money.
Ooh.
And he can open chests and doors, so if there's treasure you want to get, and a chest you want to open, he just runs up and gets them.
That is very interesting.
However, he's a very frail boy, he's very weak, and he can never promote. So say you train up Shanna to level 10, you give her the item, she promotes, and yay, happy, everyone's happy, she has stats now. Chad is a thief, so that option is never available to him. So even if you train him up, there is never, like, an end game to it. He is mostly used in most runs just to grab shit. Before the time you get your second thief, this guy, he can grab up to 21,000 gold, which is a figure someone told me, and that is actually quite a lot. That is a lot of money. So how would you rate that?
We're gonna put him, considering his utility, you're kind of a dumbass if you're trying to, like, use him for anything else other than utility.
It's like, you know, if you pick Mercy in Overwatch and you, like, only have her pistol equipped.
Exactly. So if you're gonna use him for thieving, he's going in good. He's below Roy.
Alright, below Roy. Alright.
Because the way you phrased it and talked about it, I think that would be a pretty good character to have on most runs.
Alright, yeah. This is Lugh. He is your first magical unit. And this is an interesting attribute. So by this point in the game, in the chapter he joins in, you start fighting Knights, which is the class of horses, which have high defense. However, they have low magical resistance. So Lugh could just run up and say, hey, I'm gonna cast the fire spell on you.
Okay.
However, here's the thing. He can be very fast, and he can be very magically adept. However, because, like, when you first get him, he's not going to double most enemies. However, because of his high speed growth and high magic growth, like, he can eventually become a very, you know, swell guy. However, if he misses those level ups, and he misses those, like, 3 times in a row, if he misses those good level ups, like, 3 times in a row, it becomes a real struggle to get him to where he needs to be.
Okay.
But and when he promotes, he can use staves, and if he has a high magic when he has staves, he can heal more than, say, this lady can, but he'll have a lower staff rank than her since he hasn't been training with staves the whole time.
Okay. We are gonna put him confidently in meh between blue shirt boy and blue haired boy.
Alright, and I should say, this is the only magical attacking unit, because this lady is technically magical because she heals. The only magical attacking unit you get until her, which is like a lot of chapters later, like I want to say like 5-ish. And so if you run into an enemy with low resistance and your physical guys aren't just cracking it, he is your only option, unless you... these guys come with a hammer, which is effective against armor knights, but it's not too accurate, but you can train up Marcus's axe rank to use it. But unless you do that, lose your best bet. Until you get her.
You know what? We're actually going to put him above blue shirt boy and meh. He's going to the top of meh.
Alrighty. Sounds good.
Going to the top. He seems very applicable in the early game until you get that other lady.
This is Clarine. She is your second healer after this lady. She starts out with the same staff rank, D. So by the time you get her, this lady's already probably going to be a bit trained in staves, but she is on a horse, meaning she can do that Canto thing where she can move again, and she can heal guys. So say, Lance is 7 spaces away and he needs healing. Like, imagine he's Genji from Overwatch. He needs healing!
Yes.
And this lady is, like, more than, like, 4 or 5 spaces away. Lance ain't getting that healing. But Clarine is on a horse, so she can deliver the healing. However, overall, I want to... Hold on, let me actually... I think overall, like, you know, it's like, you know, I don't think she's ever going to be dealing much damage. And I think this lady, if you train her, she does get a lot of resistance, so she can, like, tank magical attacks. I don't think that applies to Clarine. I think she's just frail, and stats are a struggle for her overall, but she can do everything another mounted unit can. And she can heal.
I'm gonna put her... Oh, that's difficult. I feel like because she she has a lot of tools to help her recover teammates, and it seems very focused on that. So it's another situation with the thief where if you're using her to attack and keeping her in the front lines, you're a dumbass. So we're putting her at the bottom of good.
They made it specifically so like she joins as an ally, so Raigh has to talk to her to make her on his side. They made it specifically so enemies do not attack her while she's walking to Roy, which is like a rarity in the series, because usually if there's like an allied unit, they'll attack. Until she reaches Roy, they will not attack her, because if they attacked her, recruiting her would be totally unfair, because she would just die.
I see. That's interesting. We're putting her at the bottom of good.
Alright, below Chad. Alright, this guy's name is Chad, by the way. I don't know if I brought that up.
He looks like you just took the hair gel you put in your hair after a shower, and you like squirts it up and you let it dry and didn't do anything like that. Yeah. He looks like he rolls around in the mud and yeah, I don't like him, but he serves his purpose well, I suppose. Right.
This is Rutger. He will double everything for the entire game if you use him. He will never not double pretty much every enemy unless super specific bosses. However, he can only use swords. And the thing about being sword locked, like with Roy, so you know how these guys can use lances and swords, and these guys can use axes?
Yeah.
There are items called hand axes and javelins, which lets them attack from 1 to 2 range. Like, this guy can attack from 2 range, but javelins can attack from 1 to 2 range. And hand axes. They're very inaccurate, especially in this game, because in Binding Blade accuracy is lower across the board. So, like, if you do want to attack from 2 range, bows would be more accurate, but the option is available, right?
Okay, yeah.
But this guy has a sword, so he will not be attacking from 2 range, ever. However, he will double attack every time, and under specific circumstances, like, if you get him and her, Clarine, to support, you know, like I talked about with Roy, where, you know, they talk to each other and become friends.
Yeah.
And you give him a weapon with crit, he can obtain, if trained, a weapon with 102% critical hit rate.
So he's doing 2.
However, his strength growth isn't the best, so there are some enemies and bosses where even if you crit them twice, they might not die, per se. But most of the time, they probably will. And he is very... Now, I want to emphasize this, extremely accurate. So, Boris, you know how I said he's usually ranging like 60 to 80 if he's using his most accurate weapon?
Yes.
There are bosses in this game that are on thrones, which give them like 20 to 30 evasion, depending on what level it is, I think. And, like, enemies that aren't hyper accurate, like... This guy, like, he may have, like, 50 to 40% chance to hit, and it's gonna be kind of hard to kill the boss, because they'll also get healed every turn. But Rutger, he is your most consistent option for dealing with bosses, because he is hyper-accurate. And because he's so fast, there are enemies that have a 0% hit rate on him.
Damn, okay. Here's what I'm gonna put. He's the first in goated.
Alrighty.
Because...
But he is an infantry unit, so he has the same movement as Roy, so he's not going to be moving as far as these guys.
I get it.
Yeah.
So, here's my logic. If he's, like, there's so many characters that seems like you have to train them and put a ton of effort into them, into bringing them up to just being okay characters. Especially, it seems like in the middle game. Some of these characters fall off after the middle game.
Well, that's just this guy. If you train up if you train up guys that aren't the old guy, like maybe Deke, they will probably keep up.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about in the idea of keeping up. This guy, I don't know his name. I don't know any of these guys.
Rutger.
Rutger. Let's say if he stays on top of it. He's not just keeping up. He's kicking ass. He's killing bosses. He's untouchable.
Sometimes. Like, if he has advantage... Like, if a lance unit attacks him, since lances have... against swords, I will say the average Rutger, the enemy, will have about a 40 to 50% chance of hitting him in that case.
Oh, so what? He stays in goated. Lock of the week.
Alrighty. So, Rutger and goated.
Yeah.
This is Saul. He has
Really?
So he is the same class as what's-her-face? Better call Saul!
Is that how you spell it, too?
Yeah. He doesn't have a brother named Chuck, though.
No Chuck.
No Chuck, alright. But he has a higher staff rank than this lady. They're the same class. He has better bases than this lady. You don't need to train him as much. I think he's a higher level 2. Hold on, let me check how close he is to promotion with my bot. At Oife FE6 Saul. Okay, so he starts out at level 5 and with C staves. So he is much closer than Clarine, the blonde horse lady, and what's-her-face are to obtaining staves like Warp, which lets you teleport. But he's, you know, still kind of frail. He's still that healer archetype where, you know, he's kind of, you know, frail. Like, don't let him get hit. And he has 4 movement like this lady, not like Clarine where she's on a horse. But his staff rank is higher than theirs at base. So he has more immediate access to more powerful staves.
I'm gonna put him... above the old guy.
Above the old guy, alright.
Above the old guy in math.
Alright, and I think he is actually the last unit you get that uses staves starting off all the way up until you get to this green-haired lady.
Interesting. Okay.
But you get like 3 at the start, you know, you get like her, and her, so.
So is this like chronologically?
Yeah, this is chronologically. This is in order of when you get them. So this guy, this old guy at the back, you get last.
Interesting. Okay.
And, you know, this is Dorothy. She joins with Saul, and she is like Wolt, but if she was a couple levels above Wolt, so her stats starting off are slightly better. But other than that, I think they're mostly the same. This
Which
Wolt
one?
is Roy's tit brother, by the way, in case you didn't remember.
Okay. Tit brother? Okay.
I will say she joins right before a chapter where you start encountering your first flying enemies. And bows are super effective against flying enemies. And the flying enemies you do attack are super tough. So bows can be very useful to penetrate their defenses. Like, Wolt doesn't fight these guys for like the first 6 chapters. But then she shows up and she's like Wolt and she has better stats than him. Assuming you didn't train him. If you trained Wolt, I assume they'll be around the same. But she just shows up, you didn't have to train her, and she can deal with those wyvern guys, but she still suffers all the downsides, like not being able to counterattack at one range.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I think because she shows up at a more convenient time and has more practical use, you can allocate that XP that guy would have stolen to someone else.
Oh no, ladies and gentlemen, he knows what an EXP thief is, it's all over.
I know exactly what an EXP thief is, and that's what I think that motherfucker is for an entire 6-ass chapters. So she goes into the bottom of good.
Okay.
Bottom of good. Confidence. Lock of the
Alright, this is Sue. Now, this is one of my opinions that I'm going to share. This doesn't impact how good she is. But she is my favorite Roy pairing, and I have her at +10 in Fire Emblem Heroes.
What does that mean?
It's, you know, the mobile game? If you get like 11 copies of a unit, you can merge them into +10, and then that's as good as they can get.
Wow.
It's just mobile game thing. But this is Sue. She is like... Hold on, I'm actually gonna... I'm gonna compare her and Dorothy's stats. Just so I don't misspeak here. So, at FE6... Hold on, at... FE6... Dorothy... And then at FE6... I hate how you have to ping the bot now. It used to just be you did a command. FE6 Sue.
Sad.
Okay. So, her and Sue join in the same chapter, one chapter before that chapter where you fight all the flying enemies that are super hard. She uses bows. However, she's on a horse, so she can do all the horse things I described previously, like more movement and can move again after certain actions.
Wow.
However, they both start with the same attack about level 5. And Dorothy has a better seems like a more offensive... Well, okay, so here's the thing. She's on a horse, but she is a little bit faster than Dorothy. She has like 8 speed, while Dorothy has 6. And she has a 65% speed growth, while Dorothy only has a 45, but here's the kicker. Sue has a 30% strength growth, so her damage potential will not rise very much, while her doubling potential will, so she will usually attack twice if trained. But Dorothy has a 50% strength growth, which by this game's term is pretty good. However, Dorothy has the shitty archer movement, which is, you know, very low, but Sue is on a horse. And when Sue promotes, she gets access to sword, so Sue will eventually be able to attack at one range, while Dorothy, when she promotes, she will still just be locked to bows.
Interesting.
But Sue will generally be weak strength-wise if you choose to train her, in my experience.
I'm gonna say, considering it's Dorothy, but better,
and Sue starts at level... Hold on, so let me add more things to Sue. She starts at level 1 when you're like 6 chapters into the game and you're gonna start getting promotion items. And characters promote at level 10, so Sue starts at level 1, so if you're gonna promote her, it's gonna... You know, she's gonna have to play some catch-up, which I usually do, since I like Sue. But Dorothy starts at level 3, which isn't much... Okay, I don't... Like, comparing her to Dorothy specifically is kind of stupid, since, like, Sue is on a horse. But I'm just trying to get you an idea of bow-specific units, like these guys, and how they kind of differ from each other, if that influences your idea of what's good.
Yes.
So Dorothy is a slightly higher level, so she will be able to reach promotion slightly quicker.
Okay. I'm gonna put her in the proper spot. Right below Raigh. Because I think... I think she has really good potential for growth.
Yeah, and like I said, she has that high movement, so like, here's the thing, like, if a Draco Knight, which is a flying unit, is in range, and Dorothy cannot escape range because she has low movement, then she is fucked because she can't counterattack, and she only has, like, a 15% defense growth. But Sue, she's on a horse, so she can effectively escape those situations. Alright. So right below Raigh, you say?
Right below Raigh, I say that she grows into a really interesting and dynamic character, even if she takes a little bit of catch-up. It's the same thing with the top guy, Mr. Red Boy, in that...
He's edgy, by the way. This guy's edgy. He's like, I will have my revenge on Burn!
He seems like it. He's like a red cloak.
He's like, you know, he's like, nothing personnel, kid.
He's got a chip on his shoulder for getting bullied for being a ginger.
No, it's actually part of his story. His thing is that, like, he was in Sake, which is, like, where Sue is from. You see how she kind of has, like, you know, a Native American thing going on, right? You know, her thing is, like, I'm one with the trees. You know, she's, like, Pocahontas.
Okay.
And, this guy is biracial, so he doesn't have the green hair, like, the dark green hair, because this guy's from her country, and this guy's from her country, you can kind of tell because of how they are.
Yeah.
But Rutger is biracial, so the enemy territory comes in, and they start killing all the Sakeans. Because, you know, they're kind of like a tribal people. And because he is biracial, the enemy soldiers are like, oh, he's one of us, so they spare him. So he watched his entire family get killed, so that's why he's edgy.
Interesting, I see. Okay, back to Sue.
Alright.
I'm gonna say, yeah, Sue, lock of the week right there, confident.
Alrighty. This is Zealot. He's like Marcus, but he joins a little later and has a little better bases. But he will still eventually plateau, I think.
Who's Marcus?
Marcus is the old guy. This guy. He joins. This guy joins around like chapter 7, 8. I think. Yeah, 7. Chapter 7. And like Marcus, and he's got better bases, but he still suffers the plague Marcus suffers to an extent.
I'm gonna say he gets good use while you got him, so we're gonna put him under green-haired boy and math.
All right. But remember, no, you know what? Nope, never mind.
He's lock of the week. He stays right the hell there.
Alrighty. This is Trek. Hold on, let me just fucking check Trek real quick. I've never used this guy.
That's a good sign.
FE6 Trek.
He looks very generic.
I spelled his name wrong. FE6. This guy has like the funniest supports in the game, though. I looked them up on YouTube. This guy, he's like a daydreamer. He dreams about being a horse. And he, like, just walks up to a random woman and says, I had a dream about being a horse last night. And and if he talks to someone in the next support, he won't even remember their name. He's like a daydreamer. He's, like, very funny. Just to converse with, but I've never used him in the game.
He seems like a motherfucker that would, like, poke bugs with sticks.
Yeah, he is.
Like,
he would poke a bug with a stick.
He would, like, all of his friends were, like, gonna be, like, off, like, doing interesting stuff. If he didn't have friends, and he would just sit there.
He has
like,
friends. He's a bit of a dope, but people like him.
Oh, he's the friend you keep around just because he's kind of funny.
Yeah,
like,
he's the
like,
funny guy. He's friends with this guy Noah, and Zealot is their gang leader.
I see. So he's the comedy relief, but he doesn't necessarily know he's the comedy relief.
Yeah, you know, he's just chilling. He's just chilling. However, he is like. He's a mounted unit, but these guys, he joins at level 4. Well, they join at level 1, but he joins, you know, around he joins at chapter 7. His growths are more defense oriented because he has 8 base defense, which is kind of alright. He has you know, 30 defense growth, which is, you know, 5% more than these two. So he's mounted 2, so if you're looking for a Cavalier and you want him to just be the slightest bit tankier and the littlest bit slower, then he might be your guy.
I'm gonna say...
And everything I said about mounted units apply to him.
Considering he's mounted, I don't really get high defense.
So, like, the enemies will deal less damage to you if you have high defense.
Sure.
So, you know, like I said, that's Boris's thing.
Yeah, that's not his thing. He's not... Yeah, I'm gonna say...
No. This guy, Boris has a higher base defense than this guy. He's a knight. He has very high defense. I'm just saying, Cavalier-wise, this guy might end up with higher defense.
We're gonna put him in trash, below the orange hair guy.
Alright.
Okay.
This is Noah. He's also a Cavalier. You get 3 of these mounted guys at once. I'm just gonna check real quick.
You have to pick your favorite and move on.
No. You can deploy more than 1 Cavalier.
Nope.
Okay, he has base 9 speed, which is pretty he's level 7, I will say that. Trek is level 4, this guy's level 7. So he's like 3 levels away from promotion. So he is easily able to get to that point, more so than the other Cavs you've encountered thus far. However, his growths, let's say, you know, Trek has 40% attack, this guy is like 30%, and they both have the same base. But this guy's faster at base, like he has 9 speed, while Trek has 7 speed, so he will double more generic enemies than Trek. You know, like, when I'm comparing them to Cavaliers, like, this is kind of like a pitfall, because every, unit in your army is different. Like to compare him to Rutger, he will not double as many enemies as Rutger ever. But even though he has a higher base speed than Trek, he only has like a 30% speed growth, which is actually less than Trek's. I'm surprised by that. And his growths overall are kind of middling, but he is closer to promotion and he has higher base stats. So he can get that stat boost from promotion much more quickly.
Interesting. We are gonna put him above the green-haired boy in there.
Alright, and like I said, everything about, you know, mounted units applies to him.
Yes.
As well.
I think he's good.
Alright.
He's okay.
Alrighty. This is Astore. He is the second thief you get. So, like, that 21k gold you get, like, when people make these tier lists, they take availability into account. So, like, Chad was available for all those chapters where he got that 21k gold. So even though they're both thieves, Chad has a monopoly on that.
Yeah.
However, Astore has higher bases and I think generally more combat-oriented growths, even though he is a utility unit. So, like, when he joins, if you have him square up against a mother trucker, it's much more likely to go well for him. But he still never promotes, and he's still, you know, kind of frail-ish, but he's more bulky than Chad, to be sure. But he's still a thief. He's still got that utility.
We're gonna say... That's hard. What chapter is he introduced again?
8. So we're like 8 chapters into the game out of 24. Chad joined in like chapter 3.
We're gonna put him... I'm gonna put him one thing above Chad, because he seems like Chad, but he can square himself off a little more.
Yeah. Yeah, he can, you know, he's like, get him up. You want to know this guy's story? He wandered into a desert, got amnesia, banged this chick, had a kid, their kid died, he stopped having amnesia, and then he fucked off forever.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah. You know, he's not exactly a morally upstanding. He's not a morally upstanding citizen.
I don't think I like him very much, but then he's a thief, so...
Yeah. This is Lilina. This is Roy's quote-unquote canonical partner, even though I like Sue more.
Canonical lover.
Yeah, so hold on, let me pull up. I think she starts at level 1, but let me check. Okay. At Orphe, FE6. Lilina. You might have seen her in Smash Ultimate as one of the stickers.
Yeah, familiar.
Alright. You know, because they put her in, because, you know, they didn't put in Roy's other potential lovers, because she's, you know, the one. You know that, like, $300 Roy figure I ordered the other day?
Yes.
They made one of her, too, because that's just how canonical it is.
Damn.
Alright. So, you know how I said Lugh? So she is a magic user, I will say that. Like Lugh. So she is the first one you've gotten, you know, this guy. And that problem he suffers where he can sometimes end up kind of weak, she does not suffer from. Her attack growth is 75%. If you train her and she initiates combat, done. However, she starts at level 1. So, you know, at this point in the game, Chapter 8, Chapter 9, Chapter 10, this is around the time you start getting promotion items and start, you know, raising your guys to their advanced classes.
So this is a very
So Lilina, if you want to get her to level 10, or, like, God forbid, higher than that, because you don't have to promote at level 10. You can go all the way up to level 20 if you want to train them more before they get that EXP penalty.
Yeah.
You are gonna have to, and the enemies by this point in the game, you know, the Chapter 1 enemies, they're kind of jokers, you know, Marcus walks up to them and they're like, haha, I'm Marcus, I'm going to kill you. But the enemies by this point in the game, they start, you know, even in the last chapter with the Draco Knights, where Sue and Dorothy are effective against them, you know, they start getting real mean, you know? Like, in my Iron Man that I streamed where I didn't reset, that's around the point where people started dying. So then you get this lady at level 1, and if you want to train her, she will be more consistently offensive than Lugh, but you are gonna have to train her.
This is tough.
And Lugh, like, I think he joins around level, like, he's either level 1, 2, whatever, but he's had a monopoly on magic up to this point. So he might be like level 8 or 9, right? And, like, there's only, you only get, like, I think you only get, like, one mage promoting item for a while, because each class has a different item, so you get, like, one cavalier promotion and one mage promotion item.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you plan on using 2 of them, only one is going to be able to access that promotion ring for at least a couple chapters, I think.
I think because her growth is so high, I'm going to sandwich her above Dorothy.
Alright. And below Clarine.
Yeah.
Alright. Okay, we finally get to Bors's best buddies. This is Wendy or Gwendolyn, depending on what you prefer.
Okay.
She joins in Chapter 8 with worse stats than Bors, who joined in Chapter 1. So she will, I'm saying objective facts, this is not a biased opinion, I don't want you to be biased. So she's an armor knight, her whole goal is defense, right? If you move her to the wall to the right of where she spawns, an archer will one-round her. And she will die.
Wow.
However, she has higher growths than the other 2 armor knights you get. And like I said, you know, Bors, like I said, same thing applies, she has 4 movement, all that. But she will have higher growths than them, so if you train them all like the same amount, Wendy will usually end up with higher stats. And she has access to that guaranteed critical hit triangle attack thing I brought up earlier.
Wow. I'm gonna say we're gonna put her in trash below Bors.
Alrighty.
I'm sorry, Bors.
Oh, well, you put the siblings next to each other. They're happy now.
They're happy now. They're friends. Maybe they're not so alone in the fucking trash.
No, they're not friends. They're siblings. They're actually brother and sister. When Roy pulls up, when Bors pulls up I'm gonna tell you this, Boris. So, like, by the time you get to, like, Chapter 7 and 8, you're pulling up to Boris's homeland that's, like, been taken over by terrorists.
Yeah.
And Boris is, like, the most badass guy in this entire arc. Like, if you make him pull up to the boss of this chapter where you get Wendy, which is, like, it's the leader of the terrorists, the terrorist is like, oh, shit, Boris, you're back? And he's like, take this throne back if you can, Boris. And Boris is like, I think I will.
That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, so Boris just struts up to this guy and he's like, get the fuck out of that throne, pussy. Yeah. And this is Barthe. He's another armor knight, you know, they got that triangle attack thing. He has more defense than Boris. Okay, here's how people describe him, right? He is the knightiest knight that ever knighted in Knightland. What does that mean? His growths are extremely skewed towards defense. You know how Boris can kind of become Speedy Borsales given enough attention?
Yeah.
Never gonna fucking happen with this guy. He will always get double attacked. But he has high defense, and he has high HP, and that's fucking it. You know, it's a community meme. He is the knightiest knight that ever knighted. He does not break the stereotype at all. He is the fucking stereotype.
Damn. Huh.
Some people think he looks like a Lego minifigure.
He kind of does. I can see that. He kind of looks dopey. I'm gonna put him a little bit above Boris. I kind of like him.
Alrighty. This is Ogier. He's like Rutger in that he's sword-locked, and he does not double enemies like Rutger. Don't get it confused. But he does join... Hold on, I'm actually gonna look up his growths, because I can't remember if they're like super good or super bad. It's like either one of them. At Oife, FE6. Ogier. Okay, so he's the same class as Dick, but he doesn't dominate like Dick does, but he does have higher growths. You know how I was saying Dick is kind of like rocking like a 30% speed growth?
Yeah.
This dude's rocking a 45% speed growth, and he joins, you know, with Barthe and Wendy and Lilina right in the same chapter.
Yeah.
But he is sword locked. Now here's the thing. He joins right before Axe Town, and axes are the most inaccurate weapon type, but if they fight swords, because they're at disadvantage, they're more even disadvantage. So he joins right at the perfect spot where you're going to be fighting a bunch of bandits, where if you want to train him, you can. He does start at level 3, but compared to other characters, like, if you want to train a character, like, this guy is just going to be at advantage state for like 4 chapters straight. He doesn't double, but he does have a okay-ish speed growth and okay-ish strength growth. So if you were to train Dick and this guy would usually wind up having higher stats, but Dick has that better availability, and he does dominate for when he shows up. And upon promotion, like Dick, he will gain axes, so he isn't sword-locked forever like Rutger is. He can eventually use axes and thus the hand axe and gain access to 2 range.
We're gonna put him under Dorothy in good.
Okay.
Because I think that sounds pretty good.
Like, he starts out kinda, you know, he's not gonna do a lot of damage, he's not gonna double, but if you want to train him, he literally joins in the most convenient spot where it would be to train him.
Okay. It sounds like that. It sounds like the biggest thing is training when it comes to late game. You know, it seems like a lot of viability of these characters revolves around taking the time to properly train them, and considering that is significantly reduced by the time he pairs up in the game, and you know, it makes him easier to get into the late game.
Yeah, like, you know how I said you would have to feed Shanna kills, since he's going to be in advantage state for 4 chapters straight, and the axe guys probably aren't going to hit him. You won't really have to necessarily baby him as much. Right, you don't have to go out... Well, you'll still have to go out of your way. Yeah, you'll have to go out of your way, because he does start at level 3, you know? He's not going to be able to take in the hero crest to promote right away.
Right. But he's at a better state to grow, so I think he's... Actually, put him above Dorothy. I don't know if I like Dorothy's shifty eyes there.
Yeah, she's kind of looking at you funny. She's got that, I don't like this guy, this guy.
You know, she's the only character besides Rutger and Roy that I've really... Actually, never mind. Yeah, just those 3 that... I remember the name just because he's giving me those fucking shifty eyes.
This guy's name is Ogier. People call him Orange Juice for short.
I would like to drop like a watermelon on Dorothy's head.
You know what, Bucky, you go for it.
Not sure if I like her very much.
This is Fear. She's the daughter of the guy with the mustache.
Which guy?
This guy.
Oh, I was thinking of Merlinus.
No. This mustache guy. His wife died after she gave birth. That happens a lot in these games.
Damn, that pussy's so tight.
Yeah.
Like a projectile.
So here's the thing.
Out of there.
She joins like 1 or 2 chapters after Rutger, depending on if you do a side quest that is like a different map. I mean, did I say after Rutger? I meant after Ogier. So like chapter 9.
Okay. Yeah.
And this is Axeland, and she is also swordlocked, so she'll have advantage against all those guys. But she actually doubles them right off the bat. And she is the same class as Rutger, but she doesn't have the same support options as Rutger does, but she'll never reach 102% crit, but she'll still, you know, get kind of up there, like maybe 60 if you're using a weapon that increases crit.
Okay.
But, hold on, I'm actually going to check what level she starts at because I think she's one of those units where it's kind of like, you gotta, yeah, she starts at level 1, and you know, Rutger is already level a billion by the time you get her, just for the sake of comparing the same classes. But she does double guys right off the bat, unlike Ogier. And since... but when she promotes, she won't get axes, so she will be sword locked, so she'll never be in a state where she can shift her advantage. But she's kinda got what Ricker's going on if you promote her, but kinda like lesser and later, and her strength growth isn't that high. Like, she starts with 9 attack, but attack is only 25%, so she will have to rely on the crits that her class innately gives her. But like Rutger, she is kinda very accurate.
Remind me again, what level does she start off at?
1.
It seems like the further you get into this game, with the character starting at level 1, the
I will say, once you get around here to this blonde guy, most characters that join are promoted. So, like, we're only a couple units away from this guy, and this lady joins level 1 unpromoted, and this guy is, like, promoted.
That's kind of a tough sell. I think if she might be worth the effort, but it's a lot of effort to sink in. So we're going to put her right in the middle of meh.
Alright.
Put him between those 2 surly men.
These 2 surly men?
Yeah.
Alright. This is Shin. He's like Sue, but stronger but slower. You know, they're the same class, they're like, you know, bow knights. Okay. However, I will list a unique attribute of Shin. So you know how I said, you know, you can rescue people and mounted units can canto away when they rescue to, like, go to safety?
Yes.
There's a stat tied to that called Aid, and I haven't brought it up since it hasn't really mattered too much. But Aid is pretty much how heavy of a guy you can lift depending on, like, how much they weigh, like their con stat.
Okay.
So, Sue kind of has, like, an alright build, but she cannot carry, you know, because I said, you know, she's a flyer, she can carry people.
Yeah.
But, she cannot, you know, carry the beefiest boy. This guy, I think, has one of the biggest aids in the game, if not the biggest. I might be wrong. Comment section might have to correct me. So, like, this... You've seen Gonzales before. Like, I've shown you pictures of Gonzales. He's one of my favorite guys.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember.
I've seen him before.
So, he's big and buff, and he has, like, 15 con, and on promotion, he gets 16 con. So, he's, you know... he's, like, a big guy for you. But this guy, he can... I think... Hold on, let me check. He has, like... So this guy at max weighs like 18. But this guy has 18 aid, so he can pretty much carry and rescue everyone in the game, even Gonzales.
Wow. Holy shit. Okay. Oh. And so what's his downsides versus Sue?
He will be a bit slower, you know, like he might not double guys as much as Sue, but he joins with higher attack. Actually, he does join with 14 speed. Actually, holy shit, what? Okay, he is like Sue, but higher leveled, and like he comes as a good unit. But you don't have to train him.
We're gonna put him right in between those thick as thieves, those 2 little boys.
Alright.
Right there. Yeah, well,
and,
little,
you know, he doesn't start at level 1 like Sue, and like I said, like Sue, upon promotion, he will get swords, so he won't be eternally locked to 2 range.
Right. Yeah, you know what? He's pretty good. I will put him right there. And I don't know why I didn't put him above Sue, but it's lock of the week.
Lock of the week. All right. Do you want me to change it?
No.
Okay.
No. He stays right there.
All right. This is Gonzales. Now, you know how in Aladdin there's that line in Now You Got a Friend Like Me where the genie's like, you have some power in your corner now.
Yes.
So imagine if the genie was in Fire Emblem, and when you got Gonzales, he said, there's some power in your corner now. Okay. You know, like I said, 15 con, not weighed down by pretty much any weapon in the game. He will always never decrease in speed. Wow, he starts out with 43 HP. 43.
Whoa,
which is going to be...
That's a pretty good amount.
Like, even though you've already trained up guys at this point, they're not going to have higher HP than Gonzales.
Wow.
And his defense ain't too bad either. It's like 7 with a 25% growth, so he's going to gain it sometimes, right?
Yes.
He starts out with 16 attack, which is pretty high. And he has a 60% attack growth, which is the highest we've seen so far. And his HP growth is 90.
Whoa!
And his speed, he won't double everything right away, but he has like 11 speed, which is pretty good. You know, it's like 1 less than Fur. Let me check. Fear, who we just discussed, who does double guys. Let me check. Okay, so 2 less than Fear, so, you know, who doubles guys at base, not the worst. And he has a 50% speed growth, so he will gain speed. So he will eventually be doubling guys. But here is the drawback. So everything I've just said sounds really good, right?
Yes.
By the way, when he promotes, he has a 30% crit rate period. And it gets higher from there.
Okay.
Once you start really getting into Gonzales gaming. However, he joins with 7 skill, which is alright. However, he is axe locked, meaning he can only use the most inaccurate weapon.
Oh.
And his skill growth is 15%.
Oh.
So he will miss. And, like I said, he has 15 con, and upon promotion he gets 16, so none of... It's like, you know, Shanna can make us more mobile, you know, she can carry like Roy over a mountain to get him to the seize point quicker.
Yes.
Gonzales will never be able to be carried by a flyer. So he will... If he wants to go over a mountain, which he can do because he's a bandit class, but he will have to do it 1 space at a time. Or he'll have to go around.
Okay.
So he's wildly inaccurate. Like, when you're at advantage, I want to say the typical Gonzales, when you're fighting like a lance unit, you'll be around 70%. However, and like, he will just never, ever hit a sword unit, ever. However, if he does hit you with his high crit rate and his high strength, you will die, guaranteed. And he's hard to take down. He's a brute. Like, he has a billion HP growth, and pretty alright defense. Not a lot of magical defense. Like, I think he has, like, a 5% res growth and only, like, 1 base res. So, you're probably not going to want to let him take on too many magicians during the enemy's turn.
Alright. Here's what I'm going to say.
By the way, he can walk on water.
What? Okay.
He's Jesus Christ. Like, Roy cannot walk on water. Horses can't go on water. He can.
But he can't.
He can. He's Gonzales. He's that special.
Okay. I think because he's so specialized, like Rutger, he's so specialized, he is worth training and keeping up with. Even if he's going to miss, he's got stats.
Like, let's say he takes on, like, this is a scenario I've experienced. Let's say he takes on 5 enemy cavaliers. He's gonna hit and crit like 3 of them, and there might be... This is assuming promoted, by the way. If you're trained him and he's promoted and you're consistently using him, not at base.
Okay.
If he takes on like 5 cavaliers or paladins, he'll like hit and crit 3 of them, and like 2 of them might be left when it's your turn again, when they attack you.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
And he will survive unless they like get a crit on him.
We are putting him under Rutger.
Alright, under Wrecker.
I think he's worth the training.
This guy, he promotes into the same class as Gonzales. Hold on, his name is Geese, by the way. The purple guy.
Wait, the purple Geese?
Geese.
Like Geese?
Yeah, his brother's name is Gitz, so his mother wasn't very creative. Alright, he is like Gonzales, where he promotes into a berserker, but his growths are worse and his bases are worse, but he does have a higher weapon rank. Like Gonzales starts with C axes, this guy starts with B, so he'll be able to use like silver axes right away and will be closer to using the legendary axe. But he has like more skill, like skill 30%, that's not 15, so he will likely end up being more accurate than Gonzales. And since he does promote into the berserker, he does gain access to that 30% base crit rate that Gonzales does have. But his stats are overall not as impressive.
Right, not as impressive. He's worth something. We're gonna put him above Dorothy.
Alright.
Right there. Right there. That's a good little spot for him to be.
Yeah. This is Klein. He is the first promoted unit you get that's not an old guy. He's like a youngster, so I don't think his growths are actually crippled by old age.
Okay.
So he is a sniper, which is the promotion of archer, which is what Wolt and Dorothy are. So you do not have to waste a promotion item on him. He's already there.
Yeah.
And he can double some guys at base, which Wolt and Dorothy do not. And since he has, like, a lot of bow rank right away, he can use the silver bow, which is, like, the best bow class before the legendary bow. So even if he doesn't double, he's just going to show up, like, deal, like, half or 1/3 to a guy's health, assuming he doesn't double and doesn't kill them. And then, like, he's going to leave them at a couple HP, and, you know, then someone else is just going to come in and kill him, assuming he doesn't kill them. However...
That's pretty good.
However, his movement, you know, his movement is, like, one better than base archer, but still not the best, and he's bow locked, so he cannot attack at one range.
You know, I think he does what the other bow guy didn't do. He's less of a pussy.
But he doesn't join right away, so let's say you trained Wolt or Dorothy and then promoted them with the Orion's bow, they might be on Klein's level. And they contributed into the early game, so, like, keep availability in mind. And, like, you know, his HP isn't the worst either, like, Wolt might get 2-shot when he joins in, like, Chapter 1, but this guy's, like, got 33 HP, you know, 9 defense, not the worst. Like, a 50% defense growth, that's pretty bad, but he's not gonna get, like, insta-gotten.
I'm gonna say he seems to do what the other guy was trying to do, but better and with less hassle at the start. So we're gonna put him Roy's partner right behind her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we have Thea. This is Shanna's sister, and let me just check. Oife FE6 Thea. So she joins at level 8. She has 9 strength compared to Shanna's 4. She has 15 speed, so she will be doubling most of the enemies she encounters. Whoa. She has a 55% speed growth, which is 5% less than her sister. Wow. She does have a 40% strength growth compared to Shanna's 30. So she joins as a stronger Pegasus Knight, because she's also a flying unit, so she can carry guys. But she was not available for all of Shanna's parts where she was, because we're on like chapter 10 or 11 now. So say if you trained up Shanna in the early game, you know, you kind of babied her. She might be on par or even a little bit better than Thea, but Thea is 2 levels away from promotion, so say you didn't use Shanna, you can just get her 2 levels, you know, promote her to a Falcon Knight, now she's going places. But she was not available for all of Shanna's part.
Now, what I'm going to say is, you know, she's starting off in a better position. You're not having to waste your XP and time on her. So, we're going to put her above the blue-haired lady, behind the healer.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright, alright. This is Larum. I'm just going to put these two together since they're the same unit. Like, once you get to, like, this part with the axes, you know, where I said where you can train Ogier kind of well, there's like a route split, you know, you can choose to go left or right, so you can get her or him, but they're essentially the same, so we'll be cheering them together.
Okay.
if a unit attacks them, their defense and HP is poo-poo pee-pee, so they will die. They have, like, you know, around the same movement as these infantry units. You know, they're not mounted. They cannot counterattack like Merlinus. However, they can dance for a unit that has taken their action, since you can only move a unit once per turn, and then they can move again. That is what they do. That is the only thing they can do.
Oh.
So say, you know, Rutger killed a guy, you know, he was like nothing personnel, you know, got his big crit, you can dance for him, and then he can do that again on your turn.
Oh. I don't know. I'm gonna put her like her little puffed what's the thing that Princess Leia has?
Buns.
Yeah, buns.
Right.
I'm gonna put her smack dab in the middle of the map.
Alright.
Right there.
Like in front of Fur?
Yeah. Right there.
Alright, and this guy's the same, so I'll just group him.
Whoa.
No, he's literally the same guy. Like, they do the same thing.
Okay, fair
It's just that you get one or the other depending on if you go, like, left or right at a certain part.
He doesn't have interesting hair, he just kind of looks like someone I could beat up.
Yeah, like, if you punch this guy, like, I could run up and kick him in the balls and he'd faint. I was thinking of doing a stream where I would make a tier list of which characters I could beat the shit out of and which ones would beat me.
That's a good idea. I have a question. So some of these characters start off at level 8. Or they start out...
These guys never promote. Their level really doesn't matter. They just do the one thing.
Right. Has someone ever hacked the game to force them to level 1 to see what their characteristics would be like?
There is this thing called reverse recruitment, where you get Carol at the end of the game, right? Well, Bucky, what you can do is you can just go in and edit their stats and, like, if you use the hack editor, and just, like, make them whatever you want them to be.
Okay.
So you can de-level them if you want to, it's just that you could go... There's this website called Serene's Forest that, like, keeps track of averages, so, like, say I wanted to know Gonzales' average level by the time he was 15, I could just look that up and that would be on the website.
Okay.
So people just use that information to, like, make hacks like reverse recruitment where you get the characters in reverse, but they start at level 1 and they have what stats they would have at level 1 depending on their growths. Okay. So there are ROM hacks for that, yes.
Interesting.
Alright. This is Echidna. Again, you know, we got Klein, you know, promoted. You know, a lot of the characters we're getting now start promoted.
Okay.
And this is Echidna. She's one of them. She's the class Ogier and Dork promote into. And she will pretty much double everything. Like, she starts out with 18 speed, which is 4 more than Thea, who's already doubling things. So, you know, she's gonna have a pretty big, you know, she's gonna walk the walk on the enemies for quite a while.
Yeah.
And she has good weapon ranks, you know, she has C-Sword, B-Axes, you know, those aren't the best, but they're pretty good for when she joins, right? You know, you can make them better by using weapons.
Yeah.
And she has 13 attack, you know, that's 1 less than Gonzales, who joined a chapter ago, so, you know, she'll be doing a little less damage, but she'll be doubling very consistently.
Okay.
And, yeah, but, however, her growths aren't the best, you know, she's got, like, 30% attack, 30% speed, 15% defense. But she's very good for when she joins. Well, hold on, wait, no, I'm not supposed to tell you she's good. Pretend I didn't say that. She's not very good.
I didn't hear anything.
She doubles and has the potential to kill guys around the time she joins. I'm just telling you objective facts. However, near the end, she might teeter off a bit unless you give her some explicit biased elements like stat boosters, which you only have a limited amount of. But when she starts off, her bases will carry her for quite a while.
We're gonna say, considering it carries her for quite a while, we're gonna stick her. Ooh.
And she can use sword and axes, so, you know, she has access to hand axes, you know, 1-2 range, and swords, so she can, you know, position herself so she's not really at disadvantage most of the time.
Right. I think because of her advantage in popping in, and I've given that advantage to some characters that have been in the right place at the right time and been able to excel, we're going to put her above the Roy's girly friend.
Alrighty.
In good.
Alright.
I think that's a good spot for her, considering past that she's not going to be doing too much. But considering where you are in the game, it seems like a good spot for her to exist in, and I'll say that.
Alright, this is Barthe. He's the strength man. You want a different stat? Kill yourself. You know, by the way, this is the you know how I said you go left to right? In Echidna you get one, in Barthe you get the other. So it's like a choice.
Interesting.
So, Barthe has 48 HP, you know, more than Gonzales.
Yes.
He has 22 attack, you know, which is a lot more than Gonzales, which is the highest we've seen up to this point.
Wow.
You know, however, all of his other stats are, you know, fuck off, kill yourself stats. So he's the strength man. He does have A in axes, which is, I think, you know, Marcus had, like, A in lances, so, you know, like I said, he could use silver lances at the start.
Okay.
And this guy can use, like, silver bows at the start. But Barthe is, like, one of the first guys we've seen, you know, with, he can just use weapons right off the bat. But he's not a berserker like other axe units, he can use bows, too. So if you don't want to use hand axes and you want, like, a more accurate option on player phase, you can use bows instead of the hand axe if you want to attack from 2 range. But he is the strength and HP match. He's the strength and HP guy. If you want a different stat, you can go straight to hell.
What? So he has no skill, is what you're also saying.
He's got like 11 skill, 20% skill growth, you know, compared to Echidna's 19. So yeah, Echidna's very accurate. Barthe's gonna be hitting some guys, but not all of them.
I'm gonna place him confidently, and red guy's gonna like this at the bottom of meh.
Alright. Hold on, I gotta check Raigh real quick, which is this guy. He either starts at like level 1 or level 8, and I do not remember which.
That's this late in the game.
Oh, he starts at level 12. Okay, so this guy starts at level 12, so if you want to promote him right away, go for it.
Okay, wow,
Alright. And he is the only dark mage you have up to this point. Now, this hasn't really mattered much, because you've only gotten anima mages up to this point. But there's like, you know, I said, you know, swords beat axes, blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
There's also a magic triangle. So dark beats anima, which is, you know, fire, elemental, you know, stuff. But light beats dark. Pretty much every enemy mage you fight is anima. So he will have an advantage over, like, all of them.
Wow.
However, right, like, his bases for when he joins are kind of unimpressive, like 9 speed, you know, we just got Echidna, who has like 19 speed, and Gonzales, who has like more.
Yeah.
You know, he can attack from all ranges since he's magic. He has 12 attack, which is like, you know, it's fine for when he joins.
Yeah.
He's got 40% speed, 9 speed, you know, which is fine. He's not going to be doubling guys right off the bat. But he does have access to dark magic, and he is the only dark magician you get for quite a while. And that gives him access to spells like Nosferatu. So say somebody attacks you on enemy turn.
Yes.
No, so you know Robin's down special in Smash where he drains your HP?
I had to take a minute to recall that. I haven't played Smash in a while, but yes, I do now.
Okay, so he has that spell in this game. But it's limited uses, you know, you can't use it forever, but he can drain your HP, so say an enemy attacks him on enemy phase, he can drain their HP, kill them, be done with it, move on to the next enemy. So he doesn't, he can't do this forever, you know, it's limited uses, but it is something he can do.
Okay.
And his growths are alright, you know, like 45% attack, 40% speed, nothing we ain't seen before. But his bases for when he joins, they are, I'd say, they're serviceable. They're serviceable.
Okay, I'm gonna say...
And he is Lugh's brother.
We're gonna stick him right at the stinking bottom of good.
Alrighty.
He seems okay. He has some interesting abilities, interesting ways to use them, but, you know, if you're dedicated to him, you can do something.
Yeah, you know, and like I said,
you
he's level 12, so you can promote him right away, and then you could get him to use staves.
Oh, yeah, okay. So he's in a good spot right there. Nice and comfortable spot, I will say.
Alright, this lady's a thief, but she joins later than Astolfo and Chad, and she has worse bases. That's it. That's the post.
Wait, say that. Repeat that. That went pretty fast.
She is a thief, but she has worse stats than this guy who joined like a million years ago, and that's it.
Huh. Into the trash.
Trash, where is she?
No, above blue guy.
Okay.
They need to stick together.
She, like, if theoretically you're playing like an Iron Man where you don't reset and Chad and Astolfo died, you could use her to steal shit, but like, she exists in a normal run, to be sure. This is Milady. So here's the thing, you know all these Pegasus Knights, you know, they're frail girls, you know, if they get hurt, it's like, ow, ow, you hurt me, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
She is a Draco Knight, so she is not fast, but she is defensive. She is defensive. And she has access to the same weapons, you know, upon promotion. You know, she has lances and swords, same as Pegasus Knights, upon promotion. She can double enemies, like, her bases are good enough where she's gonna double, but she might not do it as cleanly, you know?
Yeah.
And you can promote her right away, and, you know, hold on, let me just look at her. I think 6. Milady, I just want to get a general idea of what we're dealing with here. She has 17 attack, which is quite a lot. You know, Gonzales had, like,
wow.
You know, that's only, like, around...
Gonzales had, I think, 20, right?
No, Gonzales at base had... Let me check. So, like, okay, this is Echidna. You just got Echidna. She has 13. Like, this lady has 17, and she's not even promoted yet. So you can promote her right away, and then she'll immediately gain 2 more.
Wow.
And she has, like, 16 defense, which I think is, like, actually more than Barthe the Armor Knight upon the time he joins.
Holy cow.
And she flies, so, you know, she can do that rescuing thing that the other flyers do.
Wow.
But she might not... She has 13 speed, so she'll be doubling some stuff, but not, you know, everything. And that's it. That's Milady.
I'm gonna say, considering she seems pretty tough and has pretty good defense, you know...
You know, her bases are pretty good too, like 50 attack, 45% speed.
Right, she's kind of a good all-rounder with leaning towards defense, so I'm actually going to put her at the top of good.
Alrighty.
I think she's on the verge of being goated, but I just
You want me to move her up?
No, I don't think so. She's close. I'd say she's close to being goated, but the other characters I think just excel.
I will say that she joins at a nice spot because, like, the chapter after she joins is a desert chapter, and all of your infantry and horse units are going to be having 1 to 2 movement, but she can just fly over the sand because she's a lady. She can fly. Yeah,
ladies can fly. You know, I think
But you know, there's only one desert chapter in the game. I just thought I'd bring up. To be fair, you know, I said you can train Ogier in the Western Isles, even though that's kind of circumstantial. You can use her in that chapter that comes right after she joins. I thought I'd be fair since I said that for Ogier.
Right, I'm not going to consider that all too much, but I think she's comfortable at good.
All right.
And that's just a bonus stat.
This is Percival. He starts out with A swords, A lances, C axes, so he can already use all the good weapons. He has 51 HP, 20 attack, 20 speed, so he attacks and 1 rounds everything. He has 15 defense and 51 HP, so he never dies. He's a mounted unit, so he has the high movement. And you know what? For a promoted unit, he's got like 30 attack, 35 speed. He's pretty bad, but you know, his bases are pretty good. He will never fall off like Marcus does.
We're gonna stick him underneath Red Guy and Goated because he seems like whoa, like I didn't hear like a downside.
Yeah, you know, for all these units, I've been trying to list pros and cons, but with Percival, it's hard to do that.
Yeah, he seems just like, goddamn, like broken good.
Yeah, like I'm trying to not tell you my own opinion because at the end I want to compare it to my tier list, but in this instance, I'm not. I really don't think there's a way for me to sugarcoat it.
Right. And you weren't very excited about it either. You were just like, oh, it's this fucking guy. He just does all this cool shit. He's not.
Oh, have you been able to tell when I've been excited to talk about a unit?
Oh, yes, I have. You seemed like he just sucked the soul out of you. Let me tell you. You're just like, oh, it's this fucking guy. He does this and this and this. Yeah, he fucks every woman he sees. He does this, but yeah, I kind of like the horse lady. You know, and that's fair. He seems kind of boring. He's just like
the night guy. He's like, I will uphold my honor. You know, he's just the dude that you get in the middle of the game. He's just the guy.
He's just the guy. You know what?
He's just the fucking guy.
He's good, but he's boring.
You know,
He's
it's
boring.
like, it's like Sheik in Smash 4. She's the guy. She's good, but I'm not gonna be happy when I see her, when I watch her.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. They're there, but they're on. I hate them. Get the fuck off. Okay, let's
All right, this is Cecilia.
Okay.
She, jeez. I will say this. There is a whole video made by one of the biggest Fire Emblem YouTubers discussing and debating the viability of this unit. So we're off to a good start.
Okay.
Like a whole 10-minute video about this one character.
Okay.
Here's the thing. She starts out good. No. I didn't mean good. I meant she starts out with good weapon ranks. Good weapon ranks. That's what I meant to say. I'm not implying she's good or bad.
No,
like you're
not biasing me. Yeah.
She has A in Anima. You know, she can use the best spells like Air Caliber right away. She comes with Air Caliber. So you know how these guys are flying?
Yes.
Air tomes and bows are super effective against them. And this applies to enemy flyers too, so she comes with Air Caliber, she can use it right away because she has an Anima, and she can be super effective against flyers. Okay. And she can use all the other good spells too, that are Anima. But she has like 30 HP, 11 attack, 7 defense, and 10 speed, so her stats across the board are middling.
Okay.
And her growths across the board, you know, like 35 attack, 25% speed, 20 defense, 25 res, you know, middling. Middling and everything. But she's the promoted version of this lady, right here, where she's on a horse.
Okay.
She was below Chad, right?
Yeah, she's right there.
Okay. So, and she has CN staves, you know, which is the same as Saul, but which we got a lot of chapters ago, so Clarine and Saul, if you've been using them, will easily surpass her in staff rank. But she is on a horse, you know, you can just deploy her, and she'll do the thing, and she'll do the thing she does.
You know what? I'm gonna say we're gonna put her at the bottom of good.
Alrighty.
You weren't very excited to describe her.
This is Sophia. Let me just check. I want to double check before I get started here, but I'm already like 99% sure of what I'm about to say.
Okay.
Okay. She joins at level 1 in base class. When you're on, like, chapter 14, and you're pretty much making your way through downtown at this point.
Oh my god.
And she has 6 attack, which is 1 more than the level 1 Lilina had, like, 8 or 9, like, a bunch of chapters ago.
Okay.
And, you know, they're both magic. She is a dark magician like Raigh. She can use Nosferatu, but she has 1 defense and 15 HP. And she is level 1. And she has 2 skill, so she will miss a lot.
Wow. We're
and
putting her
that is Sophia.
We're gonna put her... She's so bad that she sits in Merlinus tier above Merlinus. Right there.
So okay, like, you know, again, there was really, like, Percival, there was no way for me to sugarcoat that.
Yeah.
But I will say, the way she's designed, it's more like a game mechanic for that specific chapter. Like, you're in a desert chapter, right? And it's also foggy, so you can't see where all the enemies are. But if you get her to a certain point at the end of the map, she will get you a mage promotion ring. So, like, if you promoted Lugh, then you can also promote Lilina as well. And there are a bunch of flying enemies that could just come in and one-shot her, so she is, like, an escort mission, but, like, as a playable character.
Yeah, no. She sits at Merlinus level. She's designed to be bad.
Yeah, if she was good, it wouldn't be an escort mission. I mean, you get to keep her after the mission, but if you want to trade her, it's gonna be...
Yeah.
People have done it, but I wouldn't recommend it. Alright. This is... hold on, you want to see something funny?
Okay.
Alright. So, like, you know how there's a mobile game?
Yes.
Hold on. well, they try to appeal to a certain audience, right?
Okay, I can kind of tell where this is going.
So, in this game, you know, and in her official art, you know, she's modest, you know, she looks fine, she's not revealing anything, she's just kind of, you know, she's a woman, she's a female.
Okay.
She exists in the game, you know, she's there, she's having fun.
Okay.
So, like, I'll send you her original art, and then I will send you her art in Fire Emblem Heroes, the mobile game, which tries to appeal to a certain audience, so people spend money.
Okay.
So this is her art from Fire Emblem 6. It's processing.
Okay.
And this is her art in Heroes. Do you see the difference? do you see the difference?
Yeah, I do. I do quite see the difference.
So, she is quite notorious for that. Like, nobody really discussed how she looked before she was added to Heroes. You know, she's like, you know, a pretty woman, but, like, then they added her to Heroes, and it's like, whoa. Okay, I see what you're doing there, Nintendo. Alright. This lady, okay, so she's like Klein in the way that she's a promoted archer, so she's a sniper right away.
Okay.
And let me just check your stat spread real quick. Igrene, so, you know, she's super effective against flying units. You know, all that's good stuff at FE6. Igrene. You know, and, like, compared to... Yeah, like, she joins with, like, 15 speed, 16 attack, so, you know, average, you know, what you're going for there. You know, 35... She does have a B in bows, you know, so that's pretty good. She can use silvers. I don't think silver... I forget if silver is A or B in this game, but whatever, she's pretty close either way. She has, like, 35 attack, 35% speed growth, and, like, kind of okay stats for her joining time. And, you know,
okay.
you can deploy her and she'll, you know, like I said, she's good against flyers, like other archer units.
Okay.
And she's just kinda... Yeah, that's it.
We're gonna stick her under Dorothy. She seems good.
Like I said, she is the promoted version of Dorothy. Right away.
Okay, above Dorothy, just one.
Okay. But, she's not available for all the parts Dorothy was available for, so you might also want to consider that.
I'm considering it. I don't like Dorothy's little ugly stare.
Alright. Yeah, there's a fan remake of this game, and, like, like, most of the sprites are the same, but with different shading, but they just fucking changed Dorothy's completely.
Okay.
They thought
like to be closer to the.
No, I think they just thought she was ugly.
Okay.
Alright. This is Garret. He's a berserker. He's like a promoted Gonzales. You know, where he has a 30 crit baseline.
Okay.
And he is actually quite skilled. He has 16 skill. That's pretty good for an X unit.
Wow,
He has 21 strength, so like one less than Barthe, who was, you know, the mustache guy.
Yeah.
However, if you were to train up a berserker, one, like Geese or Gonzales, you know, they've been available for more time, they've been doing stuff, you know, we're only at a couple units left, so, you know, we're reaching the point where these are pretty late joins, right?
Yes.
And, you know, he's only got 11 speed, so he's not gonna double like the other two might eventually, and, you know, if he crits and he has 30 crit, they will probably die, but he won't be getting 2 chances to do it.
Okay.
Because he won't double.
I'm gonna say, gut feeling, we're gonna put him at the top of the second row of meh. So above the blue-haired lady.
Okay. Blue-haired. This is Saul. Wait, you mean this guy?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said meh for a second.
No,
okay.
no, meh. I said meh.
So meh. So right here.
No, I said meh. Put him beneath the old guy.
Old guy, okay. Okay, this... Wait, yeah, oh, you meant this blue-haired lady.
Yeah.
Oh, that blue-haired lady. There are a lot of blue-haired ladies in this game.
Sorry, I got tunnel vision on that one. Okay,
alright.
That's pretty funny.
This is Faye. She is a dragon, but she can only... I forget if it's 40 or 50 or 30, but, like, either way, she can only turn into a dragon a limited amount of times, and you can't get another Dragonstone. So once she has her uses, you're done. However, her Dragonstone does give her a humongous stat boost, particularly to resistance. And what this does, I think it either gives like plus 19 or plus 6 resistance, which is like higher, like res growth across the game isn't too high.
Yeah.
So like she might have the highest res in your party by the time you get her up, depending on what you do.
Okay.
And what this can do is there are staves in this game that can put your units to sleep, or for like 3 turns or berserk them so they attack your allies, and those calculate hit rate based on on resistance. So like if you want to waste those guys' uses, you can just put Fae in range and they'll only have like a 10% chance to hit her.
You know what? And
she can tank magic enemies too, but in combat, even though she does gain boosts in other stats, I think she might get doubled by some enemies and some tough enemies. Like, she doesn't have a lot of HP, like, you know, she's a little baby.
Right.
She's a little baby, and, you know, she doesn't do too well in combat, and even when she does, she only has a very extremely limited uses compared to everyone else who can just replenish their weapons. But she can help you with particularly annoying status spammers.
I'm gonna say, because of her niche and how she's used, I feel like the skill ceiling for her can probably go pretty high. So I'm gonna stick her on the second row of good, in between the... Yeah, exactly. One to the left.
Okay.
No, that's the right.
Yeah, it is. Okay.
One more to the left. There we go. Right there.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
This is Hugh.
Hi, Hugh.
He is a mage. You can promote him right away. Because he doesn't start out promoted like most units do at this point.
Okay.
And here's the thing. If you pay 10,000 gold for him to join your party, he'll, like, be kind of on par for, like, what you would expect a mage to be at the time. Like, kinda meh, kinda meh, kinda meh. And that costs 10,000 gold, which is quite a bit. However, you can buy the 5,000 gold version of him, where he is trying less hard because you paid less for him, and then his stats are shit. And that is Hugh. If you've promoted Lilina or Lugh by this point, you know, they'll kind of be above him. But if you have not promoted a mage by this point, you can promote him right away, so he can just be a good, alright, I need this, you're on the team, go get him. But if you want him at max potential, it will cost you a pretty fucking penny.
We're gonna put him right beneath the green-haired boy in meh.
Alright.
Because he's got some utility. I won't deny, but he seems more like just a generic tool. And if you properly played and planned up until that point, you won't need him. It's just a waste of money, and yeah.
What I do is, the reason people recruit him is he comes with an item that lets you get access to a secret shop. So what I do is I just have Chad or Estelfo run up to it, steal the item, and then I just kill him so I don't have to buy him.
That's funny. That's a good idea.
Alright.
Okay. Who's this armor guy?
This is Zeus. He's the the brother of Milady.
Okay.
He is level 7, so unlike Milady, he can't promote right away when we're at a time where everyone else is pretty much promoted. Like, the units you get for the rest of the game after him are promoted. So you'll have to get him 3 levels. His speed is 11, which, you know, I can have joined a couple chapters ago. Like, you know, I'm gonna guess around 5, depending on what side quests you do with, like, or 6 or 7 even with 19 speed, and this lady had 15, and Milady's probably gotten some speed by this point too. He does have 19 strength, which is, you know, okay. It's okay.
That sounds good. Yeah.
You know, it's like his growths are like 35% speed, 60 attack, so he can get some attack. You know, Gonzales had 60 growth and attack.
Yeah, he sounds like
and he's a flyer, so, you know, he's got that going for him. But he joins pretty late, and you gotta train him a bit before you can promote him, which is kind of inconvenient at this point. And that's Zeus.
I'm gonna put Zeus. I'm gonna put Zeus right behind the dragon in good.
Alrighty.
It seems like an okay spot. It seems like...
By the way, you know how I said promotion items are kind of limited? Like, you're only gonna get, like, a couple promotion items for each class?
Yeah.
That's not really a point by the time you get to Zeus, because there's, like, a shop now you can access in the chapter where he joins, where you can just go buy as many of those as you want.
That's funny. Okay.
So the game's really saying at this point, alright, if your bitch ass isn't promoted, you can fuck the right hell off. Alright.
Okay, this guy.
This is Douglas. He is like these three guys that you put in trash, but he's promoted. So he gets one more movement. Access to axes, while these guys just had lances.
Okay.
And, you know, his defense is alright. Let me just check real quick. Okay. FE6. Douglas. You know, he's got 19 attack, same as these. 20 defense, you know, pretty high. Like, 8 speed, but so he's gonna get doubled by everything and attacks twice. And 46 HP. He does have A in lances and axes, so he can use all of the good weapons right off the bat, except the legendary weapons, which require S rank. And, you know, he's only got 5 movement. And, yeah, that's Douglas. And he joins, you know, considerably late. You know, this is one of the last units you get.
I'm gonna say, we're gonna stick him beneath the old guy in meh.
Alrighty.
You know, I'm not gonna say that he's trash, purely because, you know, you don't have to grind to get him promoted like you would those other units that I put in trash. But it seems like past that, he's not very applicable. So
this is Naim. She is the third and last dark mage you get besides Sophia and what was his name? Raigh. This guy's Raigh. Bread. All right.
Okay. Yes.
So she is Naim. She's old. I know how old usually means good bases, but you fall off later.
She just seems old and decrepit.
She's old, but since she's joined late in the game, she's old. But her bases are just what you would expect a late game unit to be, unlike Geese. So she just shows up. She says, I got a billion magic, I got a billion resistance, I got A rank in staves, so she can use warp and all the good staves right away. I mean, she might have B or A. Actually, let me check. That might make a difference, actually.
Holy
cow,
cow, okay.
FE6, Naim. Okay, so she has A rank in Dark, so she can use the 10 range Dark Tome right away. She A stave, so she can use all the good staves right away. She's got 21 magic attack, which is pretty good. She's level 18 and the cap is 20, so her growths literally don't matter.
Wow.
However, like her defense is like 5, her HP is 25, so she's old, she's wise, but if a non-magical unit attacks her, that's a wrap on that.
Wow. Okay, we're gonna put her... I'm gonna put her right above the purple-haired thief in good.
Alrighty.
You know, I don't know. She seems good if you're a little bit patient and fragile with her and use her for the right case, but in the wrong hands, she dies, and she's old. So
she's old. She's old. She's very old.
Exactly.
All right.
This guy.
This is Diane. He just kind of joins.
He kind of looks like Freddie Mercury from Queen.
Yeah, I guess he does. Like, at this point in the game, you know, we just got 9 level 18 growths, don't really matter, so I won't be telling you about them anymore. Like, at this point, if these units join, you know, that's just the way they are.
Yeah. There's no headroom for them. They're just good.
Yeah, they're either good or they're not.
Yeah, right.
Alright, I just want to double check. FE6, Diane.
Okay, yeah, I need the accurate numbers.
Hold on, whatever. I think I just remember good enough. Like, he'll double some guys. You know, he's got okay strength, you know, he's the promoted version of Sue and Shin, so he can use them right away. He probably has A rank in bows, because why wouldn't he by this point?
Yeah.
And, like, he'll double some guys. You know, by the time you get him, you're coming up on a chapter where you're going to be fighting a lot, and I emphasize this, a lot, of flying enemies. And, overall, he's just kind of there. He joins, he's like the third last unit to join because this girl joins in another route split, so it's either him or her. And he just kinda, he can shoot at guys, he can do chip damage, he's not gonna kill them because the enemies by this point in the game are super strong, so you're probably gonna have to rely on your trained, leveled up units to really take business home, but he can chip, and he, you know what, he just does it. You deploy him, he's not gonna get killed in one hit, you deploy him, he does the thing.
We're gonna put him at the top of meh.
Alrighty.
Top of meh. He seems okay there.
She is your last flyer. She has 13 strength. That's not good, but it might actually be 11.
Okay.
And you know, like 10 chapters ago you got Barthe with like 22, so... I think she has a cool hairdo though, with like the purple hair and stuff. Okay, no. I was wrong. She has 11 strength, so she is going to be dealing 0 damage. Period.
Huh.
She has 16 speed, which not good at this point in the game. She's not going to be doubling anything. However, she is a flyer, and for the next few chapters, like 21, 21X, you can have her pick up units and carry them over the mountain, and that'll get your good units to where they need to go. And that is pretty much Juno.
She's at the bottom of meh. Bottom of meh.
Alrighty. This guy joins. He has 1 billion resistance. He can hit pretty hard with a light tome. He has A rank staves. He comes with a stave that heals every single unit in your army, regardless of range. But he literally joins at like the tail end of your adventure, compared to the healers that have been healing you for the whole game.
I'm gonna actually put him underneath that top healer and good, the blonde hair lady. Just considering beneath her. He will only be able to heal you to 2 to like 5 chapters, and that's it. Okay, let me explain. If we consider him in the if I separate him from the actual length of the game and what he does, I'm gonna say that what he does and his unique abilities are pretty good. You know, if I heard about him when he was in an earlier chapter of the game, I would have been kind of blown away. Even if he had might have had lower stats.
Yeah, he would have had lower stats if he joined earlier.
But his abilities are pretty damn cool.
All right, and this is what's his face?
He seems meh. Stick him in meh. Just
do you want me to tell you his unique attribute?
Sure.
He has like 210% HP growth, 150 billion attack growth, but he starts at level 19, so he can only level up once. And other than that, his bases are like okay for when he joins. If you deploy him, he will do the thing.
Meh. Right in the middle of meh.
Alright, right here?
Right there, that works great.
Alrighty, now I am actually going to pause the recording because we're reaching 2 hours, and like that is the limit of my recording software. And before we compare yours to mine, I actually want to take a little break to take care of some business.
Yeah, I need to take a
moment. I need to stand before we do the final thing where we compare yours to mine.
Okay, sounds good.
Alright, so I'm going to pause this recording, viewers. Be back with you in a sec. And we're back. Alright. So, Bucky, we finished your tier list. We finished your version of events.
Yes.
I will say, you got the bottom 3 correct before we look at mine. I will say that.
Damn, okay.
But now let's look at my tier list. That I made myself after playing this game 5 times. And I got some fact checkers in my Discord to look in on this, too, as well.
Wow.
So yeah, there's some similarities, like Faye is kind of around the same spot.
Same #1 top guy.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Like, I can see some parallels.
Yeah, so you were kinda accurate for some of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, for never playing the game, I'll take it.
So do you have any questions about differences in placement?
Yeah, I'm looking at the old guy and goaded. Why is he so high up? He seemed to like fall off after that first.
Well, because because you know all of your other units start off as level 1 weak little shit stains, so you kind of need some power to get through it. And he really does get you through. Well, he can be relevant for 12 chapters, and you can still use him as like a rescue bot after that because he is a horse. But like since your units are like weak little shits and you don't really get another truly powerful guy until Rutger like 4 or 5 chapters later, Marcus really provides while he's around.
Okay. Wow, well that surprised me right off the bat. I will say. But you know what? That makes sense, and that's interesting. That's probably something I didn't have the perspective of when I started. We were chit-chatting when you were recording, just in how I didn't have the perspective of it when I first was starting with the tier list. And yeah, you know what? Now looking back on it, I probably would have rated him a bit higher than I did, because he was rated pretty low.
Are you curious about the dancers? Because you have them in math. I
don't think I fully understood their concepts.
So what they do is, if a unit takes an action, say Rutger attacks, he has to wait, right? And then it's not his turn anymore.
Yeah.
These two can refresh him so that he can act again, so he can do 2 things in 1 turn. So you essentially
Wow.
get 2 uses of your best of your best unit per turn if you position them correctly.
That is pretty awesome. Okay, I get it. That's cool.
And yeah, Shanna's pretty high. The blue-haired lady, that's pretty different in your tier list.
Yeah. Holy cow. Okay.
So what Shanna does is that until Thea joins, she has a monopoly on flying. So if somebody needs to get over a mountain or you need to be somewhere, Shanna's your girl. And you know, Thea is like her sister right here, which you rated good, which is, you know, about the same where she is on mine. But until Thea joins at like chapter 12, 13, Shanna has a monopoly from flying on chapter 2, and she can get to side objectives quickly, she can carry your units around, and if you do train her by the time you get to Thea, like, Shanna will probably be in her promoted class.
Okay, you know,
because you get one Pegasus Knight promotion item, and you have 1 flyer before you get Thea. So like, if you don't use it on Shanna, you would have to be like specifically saving it for Thea.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And like, you know, with Yoder, when you were rating this guy, I was trying to like hint at it a bit, even though I wanted you to go on blind, like, oh, this guy can only heal you for like 4 chapters. And like, I was trying to kind of imply that that's an important aspect, because, you know, Shanna, like I said, flying, her mechanic, she has a monopoly on it for like more than 10 chapters.
Yeah, right. And again, that's a perspective I didn't have when we first started, so that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I feel like he got more accurate near the end as he started to understand the mechanics more.
Right. Yeah, that's how I feel too. Once I started to understand the mechanics, the scope of the game, you know, watching the list kind of whittle down, it really helped me understand it a bit more.
Yeah, and yeah, like Gonzales, like he's pretty good. Like, you know, he's an annihilator. But movement is a big part of this game, so, you know, Rutger has infantry movement, and if he needs to get to a boss, you know, Shanna, he's light, so Shanna just goes, hello, Rutger, let's go to the boss, whee!
I see.
Outside of, like, no, Gonzales is such a hefty guy that he just does not have that option, like, the flyers cannot carry him, so he has to go everywhere on foot, unless high aid units like Shin carry him there.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? Okay.
And, like, another big difference, you rated Lilina, like, above Lugh. Again, it's the Monopoly Man thing. Lugh is your only magic guy until you get Lilina, and when you do get Lilina, she's level 1. So, like, Lugh is just gonna be consistently more a part of your army, and, like, if he does get good level ups, you really just don't have to bother with Lilina.
Okay, interesting. Good to learn.
So, like, having a monopoly on certain aspects really does, like, prompt these units up high.
Yeah, okay, that makes more sense. Okay. Pretty interesting.
Yeah. Alright. So, any closing thoughts?
I don't have any closing thoughts, except for that was actually pretty fun and pretty educational on Fire Emblem. Just having that explained to me.
And now
I have never sat down and consistently watched through Fire Emblem gameplay.
Yeah, I think so, like you watched like one of my Let's Plays, like one episode of it when I first started the channel.
Yeah, I think I did, but it went over my head and it didn't click. But I'm surprised with how many concepts I understand.
Yeah, like the reason like people replay these games a lot and like make ROM hacks is that there are like so many units and they all have different playstyles that you can really approach the game strategically from many angles.
Right.
Like, you know, and one time I was playing Shadow Dragon and I was doing like a low tier run where I'd like only use units like Sophia, and that would make me approach the game differently. And you know, each of these games can have like 50 to like 80 different characters for you to, you know, fuck around with.
Yeah. Huh. Okay, you know, that is pretty goddamn cool.
Yeah. Alright, well, it seems like you have a greater appreciation of it now.
I do. I have a respect for the art.
Yeah. Alrighty, well, Bucky, I have to say, it's been actually really fun having you on. Thanks for coming.
It has been really fun, and thank you for having me on. And God bless all of 5 Points audience. And go look at the original Shinsen post on the Cut and Obscure Video Game Content Twitter, because it is goddamn amazing.
Yeah, we really did put a lot of effort into that one.
Oh my god, that one I remember we worked a long time on, but it came out exactly
it got like 7,000 likes.
Yeah, that one did great.
Yeah. Alrighty, well, ladies and gentlemen, Remember to subscribe, comment, or I'll kill you. And you know what, Bucky? If I'm 6'4", Bucky's like 6'10". He will come kill you if you don't like, comment, and subscribe.
I'm only 6'8", but I will stomp you into a little pancake.
Yeah, he'll make you a little guy. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll swish you with the little Play-Doh grater.
No, you'll get your little mallet. You'll play whack-a-mole.
The 6'8" mallet. I am the mallet. I'll just fall on you like a womp.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. See you later. Bye-bye.